What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Lester Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, an interesting video for you here on the channel. I asked AI to predict what would happen if Dean Ambrose turned on the Shield. This was a fan-suggested video, which I'll talk about in a second, but I'm very excited to do this video. I usually feel like when it's talking about pre-WWE, asking AI, there's some sus stuff, but I'm not going to lie. I asked AI on this, and there was some pretty good things. You're going to see what I submitted, what I asked, and what was the comment. So let's get started. Shout out to Montreal Pitts. He is the guy that asked, or girl, I guess, or them. Shouldn't assume these days, you know. But whoever you are, I'm very happy about your idea. So you can look, I guess, just read what they said. But there's a few things we asked because I did the AI simulation on if Dean Ambrose would have turned heel. And then if so, how would he match against, match close enough, with Seth Rollins or with Dean? So we're going to really talk about also, because I asked the second question, what was the matches that they had? What was the match record that they have? We'll talk about it. Would Dean win Money in the Bank? Would there be a WWE World Heavyweight Championship? There's an interesting thing in here that I have to say, it's just super interesting how they would have AI simulated this, which we'll see if this actually happens. But let's go. Let's talk about it again. If you want to see a video idea of yours, send it in the channel. Right when I'm recording this video, I'm actually about to go respond to comments to get some ideas because I saw some people were sending comments, which I'm very excited about. So let's get started. So for context, this is what I asked. Predict me what would have happened if Dean Ambrose turned heel on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins rather than Seth Rollins. Give me major events and tell me what changes. So the answer that they had was Dean Ambrose had turned heel on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Instead of Seth Rollins betraying the Shield in 2014, the WWE landscape would have shifted. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else like really big. In the original timeline, Seth Rollins betrayed the Shield on June 2nd, 2014, attacking chair. If Dean Ambrose had turned heel instead, his unhinged persona would have made him a compelling villain, potentially reshaping the Shield's breakup in WWE's main event scene. So, for this scenario, what they chose was Ambrose turns heel in mid-2014, attacks Reigns and Rollins during a high-stakes moment. The Authority recruits Ambrose. Reigns and Rollins remain baby faces. So crazy to say. Timeline roughly follows the original 2014-2018 period. So let's get started with the start of the breakup. Ambrose heel turn in alignment with the Authority. So June 2nd, Ambrose betrays his Shield during a 6-man tag match on Raw, attacking Reigns and Rollins with a steel chair. Triple H reveals Ambrose as the Authority's new enforcer, citing his unpredictable. And this is just so crazy to say. Dean Ambrose as the heel guy. Ambrose heels turn capitalize on a lunatic fringe persona, making him a chaotic, sadistic villain. His promos would have focused resentment towards Reigns, which I think this is really big to talk about. His promos would have focused on resentment towards Reigns being the favorite and Rollins' ambition, framing him as unworthy of the Shield's legacy. Rollins, instead of becoming the architect, remains a high-flying babyface, channeling his athleticism into a sympathetic, I don't know why I said that, underdog role. And so another thing that's really huge is Reigns' push as WWE's next top star is delayed. He's forced to share the babyface spotlight with Rollins. This reduces early fan backlash to Reigns' chosen one narrative. That's a huge change already, and you'll really see like the outcome of that. Shield match. So SummerSlam 2014, which if I'm not mistaken, it was Dean Ambrose and Rollins. I'm not really remembering right, I feel like, but I feel like that's right, but I'm not have the best memory right now. Shield's breakup led to a triple threat match at SummerSlam 2014 for a shot at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Insane. Ambrose, backed by the Authority, dominates with underhand tactics, but loses when Reigns pins Rollins. What? After a spear. The changes. This match establishes Ambrose as a cunning heel, using weapons and interference from the Authority. Reigns' victory sets him up for a title shot. So crazy. But his alliance with Rollins remains shaky, which I would understand because he literally pinned Rollins. So it's starting to already plant some tension. Rollins' babyface run showcases resilience, earning fan support as a scrappy competitor rather than the corporate heel. So what they're setting up right now is Rollins is such a huge babyface, should be winning. He's not getting the chances. Reigns is screwing over Rollins. Ambrose is a big heel. Brock Lesnar reigns short. So this is something that's really crazy. Ambrose defeats Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series. So, obviously, we know WrestleMania 31, Brock Lesnar cashed in on Reigns and Lesnar to have that triple threat. Well, Brock Lesnar doesn't have the championship anymore. Hell from the Authority is Reigns marked by chaotic defenses against Reigns, Rollins, and John Cena. Ambrose as champion shifts the main event scene. His unpredictable heel persona draws comparisons to Brian Pillman or Raven. This is a shock. This is a real shock that AI is simulating this. Lesnar's dominance is cut short, potentially leading to an early face turn for him as he seeks revenge on the Authority. Reigns and Rollins feud with Ambrose separately, with Reigns facing fan resistance due to his corporate babyface vibe, while Rollins gains momentum as a fan favorite underdog. So what they're still doing, kind of how Dean Ambrose had the U.S. title, or just even in general, where Ambrose was still the underdog that a lot of people like fans love, but everyone resisted still Roman Reigns. Heist of the century. Now we still have heist of the century, which I think is the craziest part here. WrestleMania 31, Reigns versus Ambrose. Rollins rise. Ambrose defends the WWE Championship against Reigns in the WrestleMania 31 main event. And I gotta be honest, maybe people wouldn't be as mad that Roman won, the Royal Rumble, since it makes sense now. It's not just him going after Brock Lesnar. Rollins wins Money in the Bank contract earlier in the night. So the only thing that makes it very interesting about Ambrose and, how he won Money in the Bank and how Seth Rollins won Money in the Bank in 2015, he wins it earlier in the night. So I guess in this scenario, that actually doesn't happen. And instead, Money in the Bank happens at WrestleMania. Weird thing in the glitch, I think, for an AI. But Rollins wins the Money in the Bank contract earlier in the night and cashes in during the match, pinning Ambrose to win the title. So what they kind of do is already start the, what is it called? How the Shield all held the championship in one night. I guess technically Reigns didn't hold it in this night, but they still, someone had that triple threat idea with them all holding it. Ambrose versus Reigns headlines WrestleMania with Ambrose heels tactics, generating massive heat. However, Reigns' babyface push still faces mixed reactions as fans gravitate toward Rollins. Rollins cashes in, mirrors the original timeline, but positions him as a heroic oh my god, you know how amazing that would have been if it was like a granted, heist of the century is still heist of the century. I still believe it would be like maybe hero of the century would be called. The Authority turns on Ambrose post WrestleMania, leading to a tweener phase for him, blending heel and face traits as he feuds with Triple H. So you know how Seth Rollins had that kind of back and forth. Now it's Dean Ambrose. Ambrose tweener arc in the Shield's evolution. Ambrose, betrayed by the Authority, feuds with Triple H and evolves into an anti-hero by mid-2015. Meanwhile, Reigns and Rollins clash over the WWE Championship, leading to, again, a Shield triple threat at WrestleMania 32. Ambrose tweener arc accelerates his popularity as fans embrace his unhinged charisma, which I think, in today's WWE, a tweener and unhinged person, look at Braun Breaker before he really became heel in this new faction. Gotta be honest, people love Braun Breaker because he's kind of that tweener. Rhea Ripley, that tweener. It would have worked really well. But with a darker, more edge, Reigns' championship reign in 2015-2016 faces stronger fan backlash without Rollins as a heel to absorb the heat. WWE leans into Reigns' underdog narrative, but it struggles against Ambrose organic fan support. And I mean, it's the same thing that kind of happens. Rollins as a consistent babyface becomes WWE's workhorse, similar to Daniel Bryan's 2013-2014 run. His technical prowess and high-flying style make him a fan favorite, potentially leading to a longer title reign post-WrestleMania 32. This sounds like a little bit better, in my opinion, what could have happened, but still a little insane. So what happens after? Long-term ripple effects. Ambrose heel turn and subsequent tweener arc make him a cornerstone of WWE's main event scene, potentially leading to multiple world title reigns by 2018. Really would have helped him maybe stay. This is the one that's crazy to me. Reigns' babyface push faces ongoing challenges, forcing WWE to adjust to his character earlier. A heel turn in 2017 instead of 2020. So the reason why I really talk that is insane is because, and let me be honest here, I think if you made a situation where Seth Rollins was a top babyface, like you said here, a top babyface, you would make Reigns probably the heel in this story. And because they made Reigns a heel in the story, you would see him become not a tweener, but a heel way earlier. And then it questions, title reign, how long it would be, how much are we really diving into Roman Reigns. It's just insane. It is just insane. Rollins as a top babyface anchors Raw or SmackDown, feuding with stars like AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and returning Ambrose. The Shield reunion in 2017-2018 is less nostalgic and more continuous contentions, with Ambrose heel history creating distrust. The reunion may focus on a final war story culminating in a high-stakes match at Survivor Series 2018. Really crazy stuff. And I think could be an interesting thing to show how much different the WWE world would be. Now, summary changes. Ambrose heel turns elevates him to a main event. This is kind of the same thing. Rollins' babyface run avoids the injury-related setbacks of his 2015 heel run. Reigns' trajectory is rockier as fans resist, which still happens, which is so crazy. Forces WWE to pivot away from his next Cena push sooner. This could lead to a more organic character evolution, such as Samoa and Dicey faction by 2018. The Authority's role diminishes faster. Paving the way for new heel factions. Insane. So now, I guess they have key differences. Ambrose Sensity. I mean, we already know that. Rollins' babyface run without the heel turn. I mean, I really like to think of a Rollins' babyface run would have really helped him elevate in today's world, but probably not. I mean, heel Rollins was insane. Reigns struggles, babyface forced to adjust to his... Okay, this is literally the exact same stuff that they really talked about. You can pause the video and watch it. Let's talk about the next thing. So, I then asked, does Dean Ambrose in this scenario have more wins/losses against Seth or Roman? So now it's kind of going to talk about some major matches, what they had. So let's talk about Ambrose versus Reigns. Ambrose versus Reigns. Pay-per-view record. Ambrose wins 2. Night of Champions 2014, Survivor Series 2014, but he loses 3 to Reigns. SummerSlam 2014, which he got that pin. WrestleMania 31, which technically didn't lose to Reigns. It feels a cash in to make it a triple threat, but not going to question that at all. Money in the Bank 2015. So would they have a match and a feud there and Rollins have the title? Maybe they'll show a little more. Roughly even with Ambrose edging out during his heel phase, but Reigns dominating later. Ambrose has slightly more losses than wins against Reigns, which, if I'm not mistaken, kind of happened with Rollins. I think Dean Ambrose took more losses and Reigns took more wins on Seth because they were pushing him. I don't remember. Ambrose wins are significant, but Reigns' victories at the major events tip the balance. Now we talk about Rollins. Ambrose wins 4 out of 5. Rollins wins 3 out of 4. Ambrose wins 2 at Hell in a Cell 2014, Extreme Rules 2015. Loses 1 and 2, WrestleMania 31. And then that triple threat, Rollins wins at WrestleMania 32. Ambrose has a slight edge during his heel phase, but Rollins evens the score later. Ambrose has slightly more wins than losses against Rollins as his heel dominance and tweener resilience secure key victories, while Rollins' losses are often protected. Interference or multi-man formats. That's how the babyface role works. If you're a babyface, usually if you lose to a bad guy, it's okay because something happened like there and you can always build up from it. If you're a bad guy and you kind of lose, that going to suck. So that's fair on there. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.